In September of 2022, we did a Viking Rhine River Cruise. The cruise started in Amsterdam and went down the Rhine to Basil, Switzerland. The trip is actually only one way, but we did a double trip and went back up the Rhine. Unlike other places we stopped, we only hit here once, and it was rainy. However, I don't doctor photos, so this is the sky we saw. On the way there, you still see signs of World War II, as well as the white wine vineyards, which the Alsace region is known for. On the way into town, you see a smaller replica of the Statue of Liberty. The man who designed it, Frederick Bartholdi, if I'm saying his name correctly, was from Colmar. I'm not sure why this devil is so close, but I'm sure it's nothing intentional. I like their gnomes much better. During World War II, Colmar was decimated by fighting and bombing. The Colmar Pocket and the town of Colmar saw some of the most vicious fighting of the war. However, its significance has been overshadowed by the Battle of the Bulge, which was happening around the same time from November of 44 to February of 45. I have tried to line up some of the 44-45 pictures of destruction in comparison to what I saw today on the same streets. There is a Colmar Pocket Museum in nearby Turgenheim. That is a separate video. This was our second trip to Colmar. We were here on a different tour, and we got to stay here 2 nights, and this is actually one of our favorite places to visit. The food here has a mixture of French and German, and the culture and the architecture. It's all a great mix. It's unfortunate that the two populations didn't mix as well until after the Second World War. Even though Alsace is now French, there are a lot of German surnames here like Pierre Mueller. Following the little triangles leads you to points of interest, sort of like the Freedom Trail in Boston. Europe has some of the best signs I have ever seen. Very artistic. The city's renowned for its well-preserved old town. I'm sure a lot of it had to be rebuilt after the bombings, but its numerous architectural landscapes and its museums, like the Unterlinden Museum, is really something you should try to see. Colmar was founded in the 9th century, and it's mentioned in texts dating back to 823. This was the location where the Carolingian Emperor Charles the Fat held a diet in 884. I say this not necessarily because it's historic, I just found it a strange way to put it in the history books. Colmar was granted the status of a free imperial city in 1226. In 1354, it joined a city league. But then in 1548, Josel of Rosheim, again if I'm saying all this correctly, urged the courts to repeal the Colmar market ban on Jewish merchants, which evidently meant that prior to that time, there was a ban on Jewish merchants. The city adopted the Protestant Reformation in 1575, which was long after many of its northern neighbors. During the 30 Years' War, it was taken by the Swedish army in 1632, who held it for 2 years. In 1635, the city's harvest was spoiled by the Swedish imperial forces while the residents were shooting at them from the walls. Then in 1673, the city was conquered by the French. Then, along with the rest of Alsace, Colmar was annexed to the newly formed German Empire in 1871 as a result of the Franco-Prussian War. It then returned back to France after World War I during the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. However, it was then annexed by Nazi Germany in 1940. And then in 1945, it was given back to the French at the end of the Second World War. Talk about an identity crisis. A little coffee on an Alsace morning? I suppose whatever works. Where's the building inspector? Considering how much destruction happened here, it's amazing that so much was reconstructed to look the same. Definitely, this town's a labor of love. There is another small section of Colmar that we visited on our initial trip, but not this time. It's called Little Venice. If you get a chance to get here, you need to go see it. It's a small village area across this small bridge where all the buildings have to be a different color. It's really worth searching out. It used to be in a section of the old tannery, so it used to be a real smelly, nasty, gross section of town, which now has very high-priced condos that probably most of the people here can't afford. Even though this is France, this is the old Prussian emblem. They value their history, good, bad, whether they like it or not, unlike some others. In 1863, a Colmar treasure was found, which was a hoard of precious objects hidden by the Jews during the Black Death. Colmar is an excellent jumping off point for other places to go in the region, especially if you're traveling on your own. There's a major train station in Colmar, and there are two types of direct trains that leave from Colmar to Paris. Of course, this section we stayed in is the older sections, which we prefer, but there are more modern sections also.